Welcome to IDO's video channel. In this video, I will show you how to assign elevations from the vertical alignment. Let me zoom to this location. I don't see the vertical alignment because I turned it off in another video. So let me turn it on. I'm going to Profile View Properties. Then I go to Profiles tab and I will draw a bulk water. This is vertical alignment for bulk water. Because I did some adjustments to the pipe network, that's why it doesn't match the vertical alignment anymore. But if I want to, I can assign elevations from the vertical alignment. I'm going to Pipe Design Utilities, and then I go to Command Match Path to Profile. Let me use that option. Under the network, I can select the network, then the alignment, this is a bulk water. The vertical alignment, it is VA bulk water. I want to match pipes at outside top. There's also an option to specify the maximum distance from alignment. It might happen that by accident your structures might not be exactly on the alignment, which is not right. They should always be exactly on the alignment. But sometimes when you modify the network, you might forget about some of the structures and they might not be exactly on the alignment. So there's like a tolerance which we can use. And then there is a selection method. You can choose whether you want to adjust the entire network or just between two structures or the selection. And what I want to show you here, I would, of course, if I was designing this pipe network, I would use entire network to make my life easier. Unless if I had a very big network, then I would probably use the option between 2 points because it might be faster. But I want to use between two structures because I want to show you the behavior, how it works. Then I click OK, and I will select the same structures, the scour valve and the air valve like I used under the Grade Pipes command. So it matches all the pipes. Let me actually make it a little bit easier. So I will remove those labels. So let me go to Edit Labels. Then I go to Import Label Set and I use No Labels. OK, so it's a little bit cleaner. And as you can see, only the pipes between those two nodes were adjusted, not the incoming pipe or outgoing pipe. So if I want those pipes to match the profile as well, then I need to run the command again. So I go to Match Paths to Profile, but I will select this node and that node, and that will match all the pipes nicely to the profile. Let me show you another option. If I, let's say, zoom more to the right hand side, I will do some bigger adjustments here. For example, I want this scour valve to be somewhere here and this air valve to be probably somewhere there. Now I will rerun the command. So I go to Pipe Design Utilities, Match Paths to Profile, and I will use the entire network for now. Okay, I don't need to select the point, but something doesn't look right. It didn't create or it didn't move the structure to this point. So what can I do now? You can move structure. So you can go to IDOS ribbon, use command Move Structure, then you select which structure where you want it, and it does that. But the elevation which was used here is used at the new location, so that's why it doesn't match. But it's not a problem because I will move the structures first and then I will reassign elevations from the profile again. So now I go to Match Paths to Profile for the entire network, so I keep the default settings and now it looks correct. Now what if you do, let me delete this label, it's on the way. What if you do more changes to your profile? Let's say I will do something like this, and then I will go to Edit Profile Geometry, and I will insert more like that. If there is too many changes, you can still like move structures, insert structures when you want. But if there was too many structures to delete, move, and modify, what might be easier just to delete this portion, recreate it and insert structures at the high and low points. Let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to close this window and then I'm going to delete the portion between those two structures. So I'm going to Pipe Design Utilities, delete parts along the route. Then I follow the command line, select start structure, then select end structure. Okay. And do you want to delete start and end structures? No, I don't want, because I want to keep them there. Then I can go to pipe design utilities and I can create parts along the route. I have already used this window in another video, but let me quickly go through that so I can specify which network I want to work with. There's a part list which is used, there's a catalog which I'm using right now. As a structure, I will use a junction for now, and then I can specify the pipe type. It's a HDPE SDR11PN16 140. Under the connect to existing structures, I want to do that, so tick that on. Again, there is a tolerance if there is a structure a little bit away. Under the alignment, this is the pipe network alignment. I need to select the start structure, so I click on this icon and then I press S to select structure, and I select this structure. For the end structure, again, I will press S to select the end structure. There is option to specify interval. Now, if you need to have, let's say, pipes at 12 meters interval or 6 meters interval, you can use that. Then under the profile, I can specify the vertical alignment, offset from profile 0, and the match location outside top. Okay. And it creates that portion. But if you remember from the other video, we need to project those new parts to profile view. They were created in a plan, but then I need to display them in a profile view. So I can use a command clean up. Then I can specify the network. I can specify the profile view. And then I click OK. And that will project those pipes into profile view. As you can see, it doesn't insert structures at the vertical alignment geometry points, PVI points, point or vertical intersections. So that's on our wish list, that this command, create parts along the route, will have a checkbox to add the structures at the profile vertical geometry points. But unfortunately, at this point, it's not there. But if you see it in some newer IDAS versions, then you can use it. So for now, I would need to go and insert those structures manually again. But I will use another option. Let me undo. I will undo. So I will delete those parts again between two structures to make sure I have a clean drawing. So let me go to delete parts along the route from here to there. Enter. Then I will recreate the parts along the route. So I will use the same command, the same settings. I will select the start structure. Then I will select the end structure. But in this case, I will set the interval 1000. So it will be one long pipe. Then I click OK. Again, I will need to project parts to profile view. And here it is. So it creates one long pipe. And again, if there was an option to insert structures at the profile vertical geometry points, at the PVIs, that would be very nice because it would already match my profile. But as I said, if you had a lot of adjustments in the original alignment, it might be just easier to recreate that portion and insert structure. Then I will use the default settings, the NGL surface Otara, and I want to use junction as it is. I can either use a cover or interpolate. Doesn't really matter because I will assign levels later on. Then I click OK and I click at the PVI points of the profile like that, and then I just rerun the command match parts to profile, and I will use the default settings for the entire network, and now it beautifully matches the profile. And I can even run the command swap structures to air valves and scour valves. I will run it between two structures, not for the entire network, because I don't want any changes at the other parts. Then I click OK. And I select the start structure, end structure, and as you can see, high point, air valves, low point, scour valve. And there is another exercise which I want to show you. In some cases, you might not have vertical alignment at all. I will turn it off so it doesn't confuse you. So we can pretend that we have no vertical alignment for our pipe network, but we want to adjust pipe network from a profile because it's easier to modify the profile, adjust the slopes and all of that. So what you can do, you can just create a new profile. You can go to Profiles, create profile by layout, or you can go to Ribbon Home and then Profile, Profile Creation Tools. Both commands do the same. Then I select Profile View. I can specify the name. It will be VA Bulk Water. I will call it Temp as a temporary profile. As a style, I can use a pipe outside top. Labels, I don't need to display any labels, so I will use none. Okay. Then I have an option to either design tangents with and without curves. I cover the vertical alignments in another video, how to create pipe network vertical alignment, so you can look at that video for details. I will just draw the tangents. Then I will specify, let's say, start structure. I will draw it at the outside top. And now I have an option either to snap to parts and adjust it, or I can just go and modify it as I wish. And I come in here, outside top. So I have this temporary profile and I can go, and first I would need to move structures to those new points. So I go to IDAS, move structure, then I select structure and I specify a new point. Structure, new point. And then I go to adjust or match parts to profile. I will use the same settings like always, but as a profile, I will use a VA bulk water temp. And I want match location outside top and between 2 points only. Then I click OK. And I want to go from here to there, and it adjusts the vertical alignment accordingly. So you can create temporal profile which you can use to adjust your pipe networks. And with the profile, of course, you have a lot of options how to modify it and so on. That's about the vertical adjustments from the profile.